Coffee Conversations with Greg J is on. How are you today? Y'all doing all right? Wow, wow, wow. What a great Juneteenth weekend, Father's Day weekend. So awesome, so global, so epic. We thought we would take the time to recap all of the activities that we experienced and saw all across the Southland. And hopefully, those of you that are not in the Southland and across the globe can take a peek and relate to what you were doing in your community. What were you doing? What did you see? What did you experience? What an expression, an explosion of culture, right? Let me get with Rhonda Love here because, our four eyes together have seen quite a few things together. And I just want to have her share with us the experiences. And let me just grab down here where you at, Rhonda Love. There you are. Good morning, Rhonda Love.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing all right. Just making things happen. You know what? Wow, what a great, 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 Juneteenth weekend. I know it was, magnified because this was the second anniversary, the second year that it's been designated as a federal holiday. People were off on Monday, but certainly the community was out all across Southern California. What's your thoughts?
It was great. It was just a beautiful weekend of good energy, vibration, good festivities. Just absolutely amazing.
You know what I thought was really wonderful about it, and I want to just kind of start with our home port, which is Long Beach. We're global, but our spaceship is docked down here in Long Beach. But this is where we started there. The Juneteenth festival, we rolled through there in Long Beach. Rainbow Lagoon was the place to be.
Yeah, it was. We started in the hometown first, and it was just activations everywhere. There were a
Mhm.
couple of events in Long Beach, and we got a chance to stop by those. It was just a completely festive weekend. And really quick, Greg J, edit your name there. I think the intern may have incorrectly put it in there, but it says GR. It says GFE, so change that to Greg
Okay, I'll,
J.
I'll do
We want
that.
to make sure you
Yeah,
represent it.
that's right. Okay.
Um, but yeah, it was a great, amazing weekend. We had a great time. It was festivities everywhere. We, of course, started at home on the home front on Saturday and
Mhm.
visited all the amazing events there and just saw it was really all about the community. We got a chance to hang out and see the community and celebrate and take lots of pictures and just love and all of that. So it was just, it was incredible. And what I really loved is the diversity in the celebration. Of course, we know what Juneteenth is about, but what was beautiful is everybody was celebrating it because it was just really the essence of celebrating freedom, freedom for everybody. And so it was amazing to be there and just celebrate with everybody.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Just give me a few more minutes here, Rhonda Love. I know you could hear me there. Just trying
Okay.
to create some audio, fix some audio situations. But before we get in, and we have a lot of guests from across Southern California that we've been, blessed to come on with us today to reflect with us. But shortly, you had the reflections of Juneteenth. That is a very profound, digital media program that really examines the history of Juneteenth. Talk a little bit about that. Let's lay the foundation of the real history of it before we get into the party.
Yeah, so last year we were able to, in the honor of the very first federally observed Juneteenth, we produced, I guess, a documentary of sort, but it was just a piece that we did, an hour-long piece called "The Reflections of Juneteenth," and so we dived deeply into the history of Juneteenth and what it was all about. We felt that that was very important for the nation and for the world to understand. Hey, this is what it's happened. This is what we're celebrating. Here is the story. So we were able to tap into some amazing history there. We had interviews and talks with the Seminole Indians, the descendants of the Seminole Indians from that history. Wendy Goodlow, hello, Wendy, thank you so much. And we're still celebrating that time of just diving into history last year. But we had conversations with the descendants of the Seminole Indians who were part of that history. And we also had a conversation with the Muskogos people, which was really great as well. And so that piece was so popular that we had requests this year to see it again. And so we presented it again this year live. The response has been really great. And we're excited about that because that's an evergreen piece that we'll be able to share, for years to come about the history. And you can see that at Dream Creator's Facebook page at Dream Creator, and it's there to check out on
Right, yeah,
demand.
that one's all available on all of our various platforms. You got Dream Creator, Beach City Radio, Beach City Perspective, even on the website beachcityradio.com. We got it up there at Dream Creator.
It is.
All
It is
right,
definitely there.
right on. Okay, very good. We got it. We got it. We got it. Then there was the fantastic. I saw it all over the news. The Juneteenth celebration out there in Leimert Park Rising. The new generation of culture advocates going on out there. We got DJ Qwess. He's there. What up there, DJ Qwess? How are you, sir?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling grateful. So happy to be with you and Rhonda this morning. How's the people doing?
Hey,
Man,
Quest,
doing
good
all
to
right.
see you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Look, great job out there in the Leimert Park. Man, tell us a little
Thank
bit
you.
how you feeling today, almost the day after, hey?
I'm feeling relieved.
Mhm.
I hope I don't offend none of your guests, but we have to use the restroom really bad, and you're trying to get there, and you finally make it. It's like, it's a
Right.
sigh of relief. I mean, it was just so much going into arguably one of the largest and most attended festivals in Leimert Park history. We have 40,000 strong.
Wow.
And I'm just
Good
super
one.
duper duper grateful to be at the helm of that production. I'm just grateful
Okay,
for all
that's a police number, huh?
That's a police number.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah, yeah.
police number.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I might have had 52 in there on the Martin Luther King Day one time, but yeah, you in there. You are in the game. I saw it on the news. We were trying to get over, but we had so many stops to make. And but yikes, my brother.
Yeah.
Lots
Yeah, it
of
was
folks down there. I saw Tiffany Haddish was there. You probably ran into quite a few other cultural icons out there.
yeah, it's just such a day to culminate in Leimert Park. Leimert Park is like the mecca of Black arts and culture in Los Angeles. And to be able to carry the baton from all the organizers who have come before me to plant flags to make it this historical area. I'm just grateful to be in the position to be sitting here talking to you about what we did.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. We've been having this great conversation here with Albert Lord and about the creative economy and Blacks in classical music. And I want to bring Albert in and one of the music icons of our community as well. Let me see. Wait a minute. Albert Lord, good morning.
Hey, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. Albert Lord, man, you've done it again. Having a few audio problems with him, but while we're getting that one together, I want to bring in the world famous.
Hey, everybody.
Okay, wait a minute. I got to bring you out. You got to wait. It sounds like your internet connection's a little tough. Let's see if we can bring.
There you
Yeah, let me see if I can bring Fernando in. Fernando, pull him.
Hello, how you doing?
Doing all right,
Hey.
sir. How are you today?
Good. I may have contributed to Albert's inability to speak because we're in the same room and we're getting
Oh,
picked up. So hopefully he'll be able to speak correctly now.
all right, all right. Okay, well we'll leave him in the game here. Let's see what happens. Fernando Pullum, we've been talking about this, notion of creative economy, blacks in uh, classical music, and we ran into Kamasi Washington over the weekend, and we saw Thomas Wilkins direct the also the Recollective Orchestra up there at the Hollywood Bowl. We've been talking we saw so many expressions of fine black music, if you understand what I mean. It's like this whole layered symphonic presentation. We saw your youth orchestra up there, this layered presentation of our music, of our culture. Talk about that for a minute. Like, how does that happen? How do the young people receive it? Let's get into it.
Well, first of all, the musicians are just thrilled to play music that, especially written by uh, people of color. And most of our music is written by people of color. And there would be no music in America if not for the Black experience anyway. Everything else came from Europe. Um, so, they're thrilled about it. And so oftentimes we don't get a chance to play classical music because people have us pigeonholed as only jazz artists. Um, my degree is I have a master's degree in classical music. And I had to learn to play jazz, but people don't understand that when you come out to play it. So I'm thrilled to be able to share that experience with my students.
How did that happen for you? Because okay, so I've been playing piano since I was 4. I had classical music and everything. That was my whole thing. I had the Tchaikovsky medal. I did Mozart festivals, all of that. And I used to, go to church, and I was like to my mom, I want to learn how to play. I want to learn how to play like that. I had the classic chops down, but I didn't have the influence, as a young lad, other than hearing, where I could play the jazz or the ragtime and all of that. How does that work for you?
Well, first of all, if you talk to a lot of jazz musicians like Duke Ellington, like all the great trumpet players, a lot of these guys, they're taking things straight from Stravinsky and Bartok. If you listen to them play, you can hear the influence, and because they study in a more broader sense than people think. They're not just studying Louis Armstrong. They're trying to grow the music. And even if you listen to rap music now, listen to Dr. Dre, and I hear in the samples classical music playing, but they put a beat behind it. No one knows what it is.
That's funny you say that, because I hear the big string arrangements in there. They're sampling and all that. And recently we were watching like Netflix or some such, and I saw a concert with Nas and the Kennedy Center Orchestra, and it was phenomenal. I saw Kanye West at the Hollywood Bowl one year do the 808 beats, with the orchestra. It's like crazy, those mashups symphonically. Do you think that's kind of the direction now that the Philharmonics are going, huh?
Well, if they want to connect to people, because right now when you listen to some of the most complicated music, being jazz and classical music, the audiences aren't that small. Then you hear a pop artist with just a DJ having hundreds of thousands of people watching it. So they need to find a way to bridge the gap between what people are listening to and give them a better understanding. It can no longer survive as an elitist uh, music, that's jazz or classical. So, but I'm glad that there's been this merging of the genres, so we can get more people involved and listen to it. When you look at Beyonce doing stadium tours, and then you see like prominent jazz artists playing small jazz clubs with 200 or 300 people, it's a great disparity there.
I have a question. I've got a question for you, Fernando. Thank you so much for doing this. And I really enjoyed the music this weekend. With regards to the celebration of Juneteenth, I wanted to ask the question because what we noticed, I mean, we would from Long Beach to Leimert Park to the Crenshaw District to Hollywood. What we noticed on the stages, the presentations, music presentation, they were tying into the celebration of Juneteenth. So I wanted to know, with regards to Juneteenth, how was it for you preparing? How was it for the musicians preparing? How did you go about selecting music that would, really contribute to the celebration of Juneteenth?
Well, I want to have the music of our people. We were fortunate to play a William Grant Steele piece, which a lot of people don't know that we had such prolific and incredible composers, and people don't even really understand that Duke Ellington wrote a number of classical pieces. Uh, like I love River Sweet, and the Detroit Symphony validated that years ago by recording it. And I recently heard the LA Philharmonic playing a number of his compositions. So if you haven't heard River Sweet, you really should, because Duke Ellington is just incredible. I just thought that we should just be playing music that would somehow help us celebrate life. Like, we played Amen, and we played When the Saints, those things that speak to the community and motivate them. And it's been a part of our fabric from day one. And a lot of young people aren't really aware. They don't hear When the Saints unless you're from New Orleans. They haven't really heard Amen, or if they heard it, they need to be reintroduced to it, which we were able to do, especially with the outstanding Lula Washington.
Talk a little bit about that, Fernando. What was it like to merge up with the legendary Lula Washington? She came through and sipped coffee with us the other day, and I'm still buzzing from that conversation. It was great.
I have been trying to play with Lula Washington for 25 to 30 years.
Wait, what you mean? You're right around the corner.
Yeah, it's been so difficult. I've been like, it was a dream come true to me, because one, dancers nowadays, they don't get an opportunity to dance to live groups, unless you like in a high echelon and you at the Kennedy Center or someplace like that. They don't get live music, and we musicians don't get to play with dancers. So it was kind of like a daunting experience for me too, because they're hearing one thing on the record, and how do you replicate that so they feel comfortable in dancing to it and can give the energy that they've been giving to the recorded performance. So it was kind of scary, but it was really rewarding at the end, and plus, she's one of my heroes. So, and I don't think she quite understood that. And I mean, she may not still understand it, but she's absolutely one of my heroes.
Yeah, she's really, 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 really awesome there. Rhonda Love, we took in all of this music. We've got all of these great minds here sipping coffee with us today. What are your thoughts right now of what we have experienced musically, creatively in the performing arts?
My thoughts is just really about expression, and what I really love about holidays like Juneteenth is the preparation that goes into it. This isn't just one of those holidays that's out there, but the preparation that goes into it. And what I mean by that is the studying of the history, where we study, when we have holidays, we study what's it about, what's the origin, what are we celebrating. I mean, we dive deeply as people into the reason for what we're doing. And so I'm always just really intrigued by hearing whether it's like Qwess producing that amazing production at Leimert Park, whether it's Fernando getting the musicians ready, and whether it's us creating music pieces and partnering with the Hollywood Bowl for media as a media partner. We're all, one of the things that happens is no matter what sector we're in, we are all studying and doing our homework to help us with this presentation and to make the best presentation out there. So I guess the question I would like to ask Qwess, and ask Fernando, and I don't know if Albert is still on there, but just kind of what are some of the thoughts that you had going into preparing for the celebration of Juneteenth? How did you feel about it being celebrated? I know for me, I was excited, and last year, when we got word that it was going to be a federal holiday, I dived deeply into it as a filmmaker and storyteller. I dove deeply into the roots, the heritage, what happened, and we just did the best that we could to come with the story, because we knew that it was going to be very important as people many are learning about Juneteenth for the first time. Many know about it but don't know the history, so it was real important for us to just make sure that we made the story plain and clear, and that we all got it as we go into these annual federal holidays of celebration. So I just kind of wanted to know what are your thoughts with regards to Juneteenth, and preparing and all of that.
Qwess, go ahead, take it away, my brother.
Absolutely. Yeah, man, I think it's such a great duty and obligation for us right now, because we are truly writing our story, which will be history, as it's in the books now, it's history, and so we have great responsibility to put forth the best presentation. We wanted to focus more on education. We always focus in on music and performance and visual art and creative art. And so it's really in Leimert Park a culmination of not just the arts and music, but also entrepreneurship and business. And all, we had over 300 plus small businesses come out and elevate their platforms and do numbers that they don't normally get to do, because they don't have brick and mortars, or they're just online, or they're startup businesses or whatnot. And so this is truly an elevation of Black Los Angeles and just all things Black culture. And so as we prepared for this, we looked heavy into how we could make sure that the message about Juneteenth was being highlighted. We're a subculture of the entire diaspora, and Leimert Park is a melting pot of the entire diaspora. And so with Juneteenth being, about Black American freedom, and there's a fine line there, because Leimert Park is based on Pan-Africanism and the entire diaspora across, the world. And so, and it's a culminating, melting gumbo pot of all of the different cultures there. And so, some of our organizers made it really, they highlighted this part, and they kept driving this part home, that, hey, I know we're going to put together a beautiful music presentation and a great festival or whatnot, but let's make sure that folks really take home what Juneteenth is really about. And so that not forced us, but caused us to create a museum of sorts, so we can start talking about our history, because we have rich culture just being Black Americans here. And so I look at that like a huge responsibility. And although we're only just getting started, we have great responsibility to make sure that we get our story correct, and that we are able to let folks go home with a sense of pride and joyfulness and great experience.
Qwess, I've always enjoyed our conversation since the day we met, and I'm just sitting here listening to you, and I'm like a proud papa watching you, because I can remember when it was Jonathan Leonard just out there with a few slices of watermelon, and hey, it was a thing. And now you've got in excess of 40,000 people in Leimert Park and popping and just vibrating through the city. That's got to make you proud. And I just want to share with you, as an OG in the game, man, you did that, brother.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much. It's tough because, as we want to elevate our production quality and capacity, right? So that the people that come, they get a higher production value. They get the same thing that they when they go to the Hollywood Bowl, or when they go to Coachella, or whatever the big music festival. And so we're not Coachella, we're not the entertainment district. We are a tight-knit community, and it creates big impact on the residents. But we wanted to make sure that the people knew that if we were going to create big impact on the residents, it was going to impact them in a powerful and positive way when they left. And I think we did that. We had Kamasi Washington and Terrace Martin with Khalil Cummings. And I mean, just, it was so amazing. You have Masego come out in Leimert Park, his first performance in Leimert Park. And we intertwine that with hip hop, because hip hop is definitely the baby of all of these amazing genres of music. But to end the night with Terrence Martin and Kamasi Washington with a full 1 hour set, that was a spiritual moment that I know we all felt interconnected. You know, it was just so powerful.
Nice.
Oh, I would love to see that. Was that live streamed or on demand where we can still check it out?
Hey, we have it all on camera. We got the audio stems. I'm just excited for what that could be, you know. And I mean, already the next day, folks were like, "Yo, so for next year," and I said, "Oh,
right?
Yeah."
Right? Yes. You know, let's add to the conversation here. I see knocking on our door. Got her coffee thermos with us. You know, Vision Theater. Speaking of Leimert Park, Yvonne, how are you?
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Oh, that's right. You're tea and meditation, not coffee.
Yes.
Yes, I do remember.
Right, exactly.
You know, well, you know, here we are. You're hearing a little bit about our conversation. We're recapping, and you know, we're kind of recover, you know, from our intense Juneteenth weekend. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm glad I was able to make it. I just would like to share that it was such an honor and a pleasure to sponsor for the Department of Cultural Affairs, to sponsor both events that Fernando Pullum's orchestra appeared in, and that was a classical Juneteenth, a classical music and dance festival, and then Qwess, Leimert Park Rising, a Juneteenth festival. And so we are so honored to have helped to sponsor both of those events and to support those artists in the community. It was a great weekend. It was a great weekend to be Black. I mean, I was just so proud, you know, with the Emancipation Proclamation being signed in 1863, and then, of course, the reason for Juneteenth is the those last peoples finding out in 1865 that they were free, and then, of course, with President Biden signing in the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act, declaring Juneteenth a federal holiday, and then, of course, our own Mayor Garcetti proclaiming it a city holiday for city employees. I mean, what is not to love, you know? So I had a fabulous weekend. You know, on a personal note, I really feel that that phrase, "I know why the caged bird sings," came to light for me because it knows that it's free, right? So we know that spirit is free.
Yes.
And we don't need a proclamation or a declaration or an emancipation to know that. And our people know that. So these legislative acts were just a manifestation of the invisible becoming visible.
You said it.
So we're already free. We're already, you know. So the gift is that it's made visible. So hey, it was a great weekend.
Yeah, really awesome. Yes, it was awesome. Culture was, you know, Rhonda, let's put this in perspective. Let me just talk to you for a minute. We saw Fernando Pullum early in the day. We hung out with Kamasi Washington. We saw the Lula Washington performing, contemporary dance theater, right? We saw Belle Biv DeVoe and a gang of other people backed up by the Re Collective Orchestra. I mean,
and that was day 2. That was day 2. You didn't even include day 1.
We saw Dwight Triple. We saw the Catalyst Collective on day 1. Yikes! Marsha Ambrosius. Oh my goodness! What? Okay, and that's why I was saying to you on, Rod, I was saying to you, I was like, okay, I can't take it anymore. I got no words.
Yeah, it was just beautiful seeing everybody celebrating. I mean, literally, I mean, from coast to coast and around the globe. We got emails from our friends over in Mexico. It's a lot of African Mexicans, African Latinos in Mexico, and so we got invitations for their celebrations as well. It was just beautiful to see just everybody. There were many African Americans in South Africa and in Ghana, just celebrating wherever they were. And so, for us, the work that we do, we connect with globally. We have global relationships and friends. And so everyone was sending their invitations and everything. And it was just beautiful to see that around the world, there was celebration happening.
Let's
So
pause right there here. Let me ask our esteemed panel here. Did y'all realize they celebrate Juneteenth in Mexico?
No.
Wow, I did not
Break
know
it
that.
down, Rhonda Love.
Hey, can I have to jump off,
yeah.
Okay, yes.
but I didn't want to, I'll be remiss if I didn't say thank you, Albert Lord and Robert Salcedo, for organizing and putting this together, because this is definitely not my idea, and nor do I have the funding to make it happen. And thank you, Yvonne, for always being there for us. I really, really appreciate you, and it's thrilled to see you the other day. And thank you guys for having me on.
Man, thank you so much,
Thank you,
Fernando. And man, we got to keep on keeping on. Great performances, and love the work that you've been doing over the years.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.
All right.
Bye, Fernando.
The great Fernando Pullum out there. All right, so break it all down with the Mexico connection.
Well, I won't break it down totally. We did
Just
that
for a second,
huge body of work
Yeah.
with the film, but to just the short version is, yes, there is absolutely celebration of Juneteenth in Mexico. Mexico was actually one of the regions where slaves actually escaped to, that knew that that emancipation had happened, but were still, the enslavers were still in high pursuit of them and capturing them. And so many did flee to Mexico. The Black Seminole Indians have that history as well. And so we were able to capture that in the piece that we did. That is absolutely available on demand. You can go to facebook.com/dream creator, and the entire story is there, and you could hear it from the words of the descendants of the Black Seminole and Muskogee people.
Rhonda Love, I'd love to just add to that. I was always told, my uncle J.J. Cabasa, he said, it's more Spanish-speaking Africans in the West than it is even English-speaking Africans in the West. So when you realize how large our footprint is across North and South and Central America, I'm absolutely not surprised, and I'm grateful for, I'm just grateful.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab this and put the link to that very awesome piece in the chat, so that y'all can find it pretty easy. And just go to the Facebook page, Dream Creator. That's creator with a K, and just check it on out, man. It's popping.
Yeah, it'll blow you away, and then we have Sam from Galveston, Texas, who is one of the leading tour guides there in Galveston, that just kind of takes you through the whole story. We have him in that piece as well, just talking about the whole migration and just everything that happened. It was an incredible journey to get to what we celebrate today, and then also I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the mother of Juneteenth. She labored her entire life to bring us to this point, and I had the fortune of seeing her about 3 weeks ago, and just personally thanking her for all of her hard work and all of her labor, and her stories there on the Dream Creator website as well. And so it's just been a great time and a tremendous journey that led us to this point thus far. We still have a whole lot more to go.
Yes.
And I would love, while we have Qwess and Yvonne on here, Yvonne, I would love, speaking to having much more to go, you've shared with us your thoughts with regards to that, to just where we have to go and how much more we have to go, and what does that look like for you?
Well, it's interesting. I was talking to my husband. His family is from Texas, and they migrated west, and they brought Juneteenth with them. And his parents were married on Juneteenth.
Wow.
And I think isn't that something? Um, I just feel that in terms of equity, diversity, and inclusion, and systemic racism still being present, a lot of when Juneteenth, when the slaves were freed, a lot of people weren't having it, and they were
Mhm.
mad about it, and they weren't
Mhm.
trying to support that. I
Mhm.
mean, even today, you see some things being repeated in our culture, and it just is going to take tenacity and resilience and all of our collective power, particularly in voting, to continue to change and push for change in this country. So
Mhm.
I'm it's not over.
Mhm.
It's the midterms for Juneteenth. You know,
The
we
Absolutely.
midterms.
we've got to really continue to press forward, and that comes with, I heard when I got on, Qwess was speaking about education. That
Mhm.
comes with education,
Mhm.
and I couldn't even believe that. Kate, I know why the cage bird sings. Why that book was even banned when it first came out. I mean, books are being banned that don't want to have children know the truth. And this is American history.
Mhm.
Mhm.
The Black history is American history. Latino history is American history.
Mhm.
Asian history is American history. And we have to celebrate all of it. I mean, there's room for everybody. So
Mhm.
let's keep our foot on the gas. And
You know,
that's all.
Yvonne,
Yeah,
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
that's
that's
a
so true.
powerful point there, Yvonne, because that one thing that I was reflecting on as I was taking in all of the culture this past weekend is, there are folks that want us to mute our history and our culture. They don't want it out there. There's the debate in the national town hall about, critical race theory and all that. And here we go again. You're right. It's American history. It
Mhm.
happened. Like, how do you not speak on it, right? And I just really am so proud of our people all across the country. What we witnessed this weekend was just absolutely culture on 10 for the culture. What is
Mhm.
For
that?
the culture.
Elevate culture. That's what you say there, Quiz.
Yeah.
That's a complete
Elevate.
sentence. I put a period right at the end of that because that's what we come to do. And I want to thank our sponsors because they came in and helped us do that, right? And then I think what's special about what we do in Leimert Park is there's also as you said at the top, the millennials, the younger folks getting involved, right? And us allowing them to have a platform in their 20s. I mean, when Martin Luther King was striking, he was a young Martin,
Mhm.
and so to see that today, we have young leaders in the Leimert Park community right now who get it and who are turning those wheels and trying to figure out how to be properly civically engaged.
Mhm.
40,000 people on the block, to me, that's a voting block.
Yes,
You
sir.
know, that and a lot of those folks are young and they're first time voters, and we're registering them and getting them involved. One of our organizers, younger than 25, he's like 23, 24 years old, ran for city council at the last session. I mean, that's just like, it doesn't happen, right? And so
Wow.
we're utilizing these platforms and this ability to organize community around arts and culture and heritage and education. We had a kids zone this time. It was beautiful to just lock off the whole park and just leave it open for children, so
Mm.
that the children can have their space as well. And so yeah, it was just so phenomenal. And I couldn't agree more with you, Yvonne. And thank you because your contribution and your support always is definitely appreciated greatly. So yeah.
It's our pleasure. It's our pleasure.
Well,
I love to share something too, really quick, Greg, while we're here. So over the weekend, I was watching a bunch of different posts come in about Juneteenth. You go to, hashtag Juneteenth, and it all just comes up.
Mhm.
So one of them I ran across was a post from the NFL. And so they talked about, it was called 5 important points of Juneteenth. One of those points, the last one, number 5, said that Juneteenth was just as important as Independence Day, as 4th of July. And the comments that were coming in opposing that was absolutely mind-blowing. So I saw that and I thought, okay, and then I posted a picture that I took with Mother Opal Lee, the grandmother of Juneteenth, and just thanking her publicly. And someone posted on there saying, I don't understand, you already have Martin Luther King Day. What was the point in having Juneteenth as well? And so I'm thinking about that as we're talking and everything on this platform, and I'm thinking we should maybe address that. But if anyone would love to kind of give your thoughts on, someone out there who may not understand how come even Juneteenth is just as important as 4th of July, or they may be thinking, well, why did you guys need Juneteenth when you already had MLK? Would anyone like to address that in case there's someone out there who probably doesn't understand the reason for the celebration?
I'll say a few words about that.
Yeah.
Frederick
Better
Douglass.
you than me.
Frederick Douglass wrote a document on why July 4th was not a celebration of
Mhm.
of African people, of Negro people, because that we were not free. We were not. We were still enslaved. Why should we celebrate July 4th? That, I believe, that holiday is associated with the don't quote me. It's been many years since I was in social studies and civics in school, but I believe it's associated with the winning of the Civil War of
Correct.
July 4th. It is okay, good. And so it's not. Frederick Douglass wrote this whole thing that should really be read on July 4th.
Mhm.
That this was not our celebration. So Juneteenth is our celebration. And so what? There's Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, and there's Kwanzaa, and now there's Juneteenth. And these are now federal holidays. So why not? Why not have more? There are many heritages that have several holidays that are taken off, throughout that season. So the holiday season. So why does it have to be and or? Why can't it be and yes and more and yes and yes? And why can't it include more and more? I'm That baffles me about why there's got to be a cap on joy, a cap on celebration, a cap on anything that uplifts and infuses energy and power and strength. And I mean, it's just baffling to me.
There's this strange narrative of America coming clean of her sins and her wrongdoings. And so when we really look at the history of America, it's not a page you turn where Black people are not there. At the foundation, from invention to industrial revolution to every phase of America's greatness, we're at the cornerstone of it. And it's baffling that we don't get the proper just due. You look at computers. We talk about Bill Gates. You don't talk about the Black inventors who hold hundreds and dozens of patents that put batteries in Bill Gates. They don't talk about all of the great things that we have done to humanity and civilization. And so for us to just have a day of recognition and acknowledgement, we should all stop. And when you look at your cell phone, you know what I'm saying? When you look at your remote control, when you look at your Frigidaire, when you look at your vehicle that you're driving, because we're talking about the real McCoy, that's who we are. And if we don't recognize and respect that, that's just, that's shame on you. And so the fact that we can't have a Juneteenth, because there's even controversy around that, but we want to settle in on the joy, on the love, and the peace and the happiness, because that's who we are. We don't even want revenge.
That's right. That's
Mhm.
right.
We just
Yeah.
we just want to
You
work
know,
together.
Yvonne, I'm
You know what I'm
glad
saying? We
you
just want to
brought.
move forward.
Yes.
Yes.
Well said. Well said. You know, Yvonne, I like that piece by Frederick Douglass. What to the Negro is the 4th of July,
Oh,
and
you found
I'm
it?
glad. I'm glad you brought that up. You know, there's a piece that we found not too long ago where his descendants, like his great grandchildren, actually recite that. It's
Oh,
phenomenal
yes.
out there
Mhm,
on
mhm.
digital media. Yeah, great stuff. You know, well, let me ask you guys this question. You know, the like for me, Juneteenth is great. I'm glad we have a federal holiday, and I'm really amazed at all of the great information that we've been able to discover, even the more over the last couple of years. Uh, I still like Juneteenth. Maybe it's because I'm old school or whatever. I still like Juneteenth when it was just, you know, what my mama and them would talk about, you know, our holiday. Now, you know, they bordered on commercialization this time. You know, what do you guys think about that criticism?
Well, I would say if we're going to commercialize it, then here's an opportunity for our culture to commercialize our
Right.
own history. I don't see anything
Mm.
wrong with enterprising. You know, for example, in Leimert Park, we had over 300. This is last year. I haven't really come with the numbers already. Vendors did this year. We had 300 plus vendors last year, and they generated $500,000 in just 9 hours. And so that's commercialization for ourselves.
Right.
That's reinvigorating our own businesses, and that's why, yeah, we want to celebrate, we want to commemorate, but we also want to elevate the businesses in the community because as we're selling T-shirts, you know, Walmart coming out with shirts and all these different companies coming out with shirts, why not us commercialize our own self and collectivize our own enterprises so we can elevate our own platforms? It's about equity now. It's not just about symbolic gestures of sorrow or any other type of symbolism. We want real equity and inclusion. We want to be able to make early market moving advantages so we can be a part of the emerging industries. We want to be a part of this, and not just because, oh, you owe us, it's because we're worthy. It's because a lot of the times it doesn't move forward without us. We are the culture, right? And
Yeah.
so, you know, without no ego, hip hop is pop culture. Jazz is pop culture. And every time we create something, it gets matriculated and assimilated into pop culture and washed and watered down because we don't really control the narrative. Well, not this time.
And I support Qwess in that because we are always being appropriated, and people are making money off of what comes from us naturally, you know, what's born out of us naturally. It's being appropriated. And you know, this is why and I just would like to say something about you know, we commissioned this Qwess's Juneteenth event as well as the one that Fernando is in. And I just want to say a little bit about that because it infuses and helps the community. Um, the Leimert Park Cultural Hub is a grassroots initiative within the Department of Cultural Affairs Performing Arts Program. It's intended to help provide human and financial resources to create a supportive framework in and around Leimert Park Village by enhancing public spaces that ensure ongoing cultural vitality. Leimert Park Festival support is meant to help advance, expand, and incentivize the number of performing artists featured in culturally specific festivals, community celebrations, gatherings, and artistic activations, and to stabilize and grow cultural offerings in and around the Leimert Park area. And so, this idea we're trying to put money right into the hands of the producers. You know, Albert produced Celebration, classical celebration, and Qwess produced this Leimert Park Juneteenth celebration into the hands of those who are doing the work and getting it done, and making it possible for other artists and arts organizations to grow and to profit, um, and and to help them make a little few pennies, you know,
Hello.
to make a living. So it's our honor at Department of Cultural Affairs to be able to do that. And I just want to say that more power to, I mean, Qwess is, his footprint in Leimert Park was gorgeous. If you saw the map and the activation there and the, so yeah, more power to you.
Yeah, it's really, really great to see everything happening here. And I just believe in these days and time in America, we remain in a cultural revolution, and this is what we see. It's all about now just turning inward to our community and accessing the arts and culture, our business art, even, if you will, and just, elevate culture, as Brother Qwess says, in that manner. I know we have a video here of some stuff. Let's talk a little bit as we're coming down to our last few minutes. Let's talk a little bit, Rhonda, about our Hollywood Bowl experience with the Recollective Orchestra, a whole lineup. Let's try to name them. Let's see. Mickey Guyton, the country music star, sister. We saw BBD. We saw
Neo. There was
Shaka
Neo.
Khan, Neo.
Bill
Who else?
Porter. It was
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Wait. Let me
Earth, Wind,
just
and
go on
Fire.
the record.
Fun.
Let me just go on the record because I'm just that kind of guy. Okay. I hated on Billy Porter so much when I first heard of him. Okay, I did. I'm a fan because after I wrote a blog about him years ago when I first saw him on the red carpet, then I began to observe him, and I'm like, hey, this guy, hey, he's good. He got it. He's good at what he does, right? And so I became a fan just watching him go on social media. But let me tell y'all, when I saw my brother out there at the Hollywood Bowl, Rhonda will tell you, I was just like, that's my guy right there. He got that.
Great is great, right? Great is great.
Yeah, and I think he was able to make that transition because he was actually not hating on him as much as it was apprehensive, since, you know what I mean? It wasn't, because hate is so strong. But I think he was more apprehensive and like, okay, wait a minute, what's this about? And then as he got to know him and hear his messages, the song that Billy Porter did at that Juneteenth global celebration was incredible. The words themselves, and he said, gotta let these children know what time it is. I mean, the lyrics to the song he presented was incredible. So I mean, it was just a great experience all around, the entire day. And Albert, I didn't get a chance to have any of Chef I didn't get a chance to have any of Chef we didn't get a chance to have any of Chef Marion's food, but we just so happened to have a box at the Hollywood Bowl next to who was it, Gregory? We were
Jacqueline
next
from
to
Karen Bass's office.
yeah, and she handed us red velvet cupcakes from Chef Maryland's, and it was great. It was amazing. We were like, oh my goodness, talk about a full circle. And I had Greg laughing about you earlier when you said you can't get some of this great food we got here because we were rushing off, but Chef Maryland's food ended up meeting us right at the Hollywood Bowl. It was great.
I mean, who knew? We were right there at Lula, Washington, and then we went all the way up there among those tens of thousands of people, and we're sharing a box with.
Yeah.
Albert, man, thank you for everything you do, brother.
Oh my God! Well, thank you very much, and I apologize for not being on camera, but I have heard the conversation from the top of the hour. And Qwess and Yvonne, I got to thank you so much, Qwess, for what you have been doing and some of the words that you talked about. Rhonda Love, I am Seminole Black and White, so I am so happy to hear you talk about that. Our people have been neglected for quite some time. And when we talk about the show, and I know you're down to the last minutes, but I was so excited to put Yvonne on because it was real important for everyone to know that the reason for the show happening for us with Lula and Fernando is that she and I talked about what the conception was, just to catch up and be kind of sort of in place. I had produced for the Still Los Angeles from 2006 to 2020, the African American Heritage Month displays for the city of Los Angeles. And those exhibits were intended to educate, inspire, and then to bring attention to our history in an environment that had never been done before. So the city of Los Angeles allowed me to create these things that spanned a generation for my generation, but also the history of the United States and what had gone on for the Americas. And so those exhibits are now being collected for a virtual exposure with the Los Angeles Library under the African American Heritage Month Legacy Project. And so last year, I was asked to do something in celebration of Music Month, which is June here in Leimert Park. So I wound up putting together an assortment of exhibits that spanned those 15 years of the put up that proclamation. And I had no idea about what was done in the White House. And so when it turned out that Biden initiated the legislation making it a national holiday, we here in Leimert Park, as Qwess has said, is such an inspirational component of we had the only Emancipation Proclamation on display anywhere in Southern California. And because of COVID, the museums weren't open and nobody was responding to it. That exhibit, Leimert Park, received over 600,000 broadcast views during June of last year.
Wow.
So when it came to think about what to do next to see we got what's the celebration like? What were they doing? And to back up a little bit, you all know that Frederick Douglass was a classical violinist, and many of our ancestors that were enslaved in the South were trained to perform classical music. We weren't allowed to read in the English language, but we were definitely treated or afforded the opportunity to learn how to read music. Music celebrations.
You know, Albert, we're having a few challenges with your audio there, sir.
When we were talking about, and I thought that, well, let's do something that's recent.
Yeah, Albert, having a few challenges with your audio there, my brother.
And I don't know, it's because I'm Russian.
I definitely want to thank Albert Lord and Community Build and Robert Saucedo. They've been very supportive throughout this whole time of us producing in Leimert Park. So super grateful for the work that they have been putting down for many years.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And I think we just want to thank everybody too. I mean, all of the cities, from the civic leaderships, our governance, to our sponsors, our advertisers, the community, just so many people to thank. And it's just amazing because all of that energy and good vibrations just kind of culminated into just great experiences everywhere. So thank you to the city of Long Beach. We can't name everybody, but thank you to the city of Long Beach. Thank you to the city of Los Angeles, to the county of Los Angeles, to Southern California, to Hollywood, Beverly Hills, and that's just here, in California, and just all across, to those who celebrated, the governance in Ghana, who celebrated and allowed African Americans there to celebrate in a very big way, to Cape Town, Africa, to South Africa, and those governance there that allowed folks to participate, to Mexico and everything that was happening down in Mexico, to the state of Texas, to the city of Galveston and Fort Worth. I mean, just thank you to everybody across the board. New York. Just thank you to everybody for just making this Juneteenth amazing. Last year was great, but I think it happened last year, becoming a federal holiday, and everyone had a whole year this time to really just lay it out. And that's exactly what we saw this year. And it was just a great experience nationally and globally. So thank you to everybody, and I know there's more to come, like we're saying.
And Rhonda, I'd like to thank the ancestors on whose shoulders we stand.
Yes.
And because life is energy and they're all around us. And I don't know if y'all could feel on this this weekend, but I could.
Oh,
And so we give thanks to them, to the Lord.
Yes, absolutely. And thank God he has allowed us to stand and to say their names, speak their names, and to make sure that they're not forgotten, you know. So thank you to everyone here as well, you know, that we continue to lift up their names, their messages, their experience, and make sure that they are celebrated and remembered and never forgotten.
Right.
100%.
You know, I really, really appreciate each and every one of you for your contributions to culture. This weekend was exceptional, and I'm just have bathed my whole spirit in ourness. OURNESS. Just made up that word. Look at that. In ourness, and I just really wanted this man. Qwess, thank you, brother, for what you do. Yvonne, thank you, sister, for what you do. Albert Lord, thank you, brother. Everybody. I mean, it was just really, really awesome. But I do want to just kind of circle back around with what we were talking about, because that Hollywood Bowl thing was cracking. Qwess, I know you was blowing it up over there in Leimert Park, my brother, but this one, I'm just going to tell you, you know, that this one, hey, their music was off the chain inside of that place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Rhonda, tell us a little bit
no,
about
you
it.
know, I'll tell you what I really loved about. I felt like here on the West Coast that the Hollywood Bowl experience was like I don't want to say the main event, but it was the culmination of the celebration that happened all weekend. Because when we looked around, it was people from all over, from Los Angeles, from Long Beach, from Huntington Beach. I mean, just people from everywhere was there. Kind of, I guess, if you will, closing out that that weekend, the Juneteenth, June 19th, and closing out the day at that event. It was just people from all over, you know, and I think that was just such a great experience to see that everyone had spent time in their own cities celebrating, and then we were all there together in that Hollywood Bowl celebrating as well.
You know, I have to say this though. Fernando Pullum's Youth Jazz Orchestra was fire.
That's right.
I was so wow. You know, I just, it was sparkling and crackling excellence. I mean, those kids, it was like if you close your eyes, you think you were listening to a band at, orchestra at the Hollywood Bowl. That was the level of professionalism, and excellence, even in doing jazz works and more contemporary works, but also in that classical piece by William Grant Still.
Yes.
To hear a classical piece that's, that has all that standing on that history, to see these young people playing that piece for the Lula Washington, the debut of that choreography that she did. I mean, and we were right there in our own home, right on our own home turf, looking at excellence. And that I do want to say that, because I know the Hollywood Bowl is excellent, but woo,
No, but understand the depth of, in this space right here where we're talking about orchestra. It wasn't the normal LA Philharmonic. This was the Recollective Orchestra that they had Black young people from all over the country that had come together. And then, Thomas Wilkins, Black man, one of the conductors, but he is the principal conductor of the Hollywood Bowl. But I think that everybody belongs on the same, in this celebration. It's just the 360-degree circle.
Yes.
And one of the highlights too at that Super Bowl, at the Hollywood Bowl, Gregory, is that not only was it an all-Black orchestra, but it was the first time that there had ever been an all-Black orchestra at the Hollywood Bowl. That's epic.
Yeah,
it is.
It was
the very first
and
time.
they had to pull musicians from all around the country to make that happen. So we need to work on that in LA.
Hey, DJ Qwess, let me just tell you something. BBD backed up by a symphonic orchestra singing Poison.
Wow.
It was it was fire.
I could just only imagine. I had the ultimate privilege of DJing for BBD back at the Greek Theater many years ago. And the energy when Poison comes on in an arena, in a venue, I can only imagine when you got an orchestra behind it. Oh my goodness, I saw the videos. Me myself, I was burnt out from the day before and I couldn't make it. Oh, I slept all day. That was my Father's Day gift. But I'm so grateful that, I mean, that was just a beautiful culminating event, you know. The
And
talent
happy
list.
Father's Day too to you guys, by the
Yeah.
Oh,
way.
thank you. Happy
Yeah,
Father's
Happy
Day.
Father's
Yes.
Day, Greg and
Yeah.
Qwess.
yeah.
Yes. And Albert, happy Father's Day.
All
Fernando.
right. So Rhonda,
Yeah.
you got some highlights that you've assembled for us here. I'd like for you to set that up, and then I'll just go play it. How long is it? Do we need to come back, or should we
It's like
close out with
2 minutes.
it?
Well, we can close out with it. It's 2 minutes and
Okay.
40 seconds. So Greg was so gracious to connect with the Hollywood Bowl and with the LA Philharmonic and create a partnership with us and them. And so we didn't take photos at the event that we can publish here. But they sent us a bunch of their photographers or their pictures they sent to us. And so this is just a collage of all of those pictures that they sent to us that we wanted to share with everybody.
That's so beautiful. Thank you
All
so much.
right. Let's.
If I can, before we wrap, I just wanted to give a shout out to my daughter. She's 12 years old, and she DJ'd and hosted the Elevate Culture stage this weekend, and she did such a
What?
phenomenal job.
Oh,
And I'm just so
yeah.
grateful. That was my Father's Day gift.
Baby
Yeah.
Quest.
Oh,
Right?
yes,
Oh
yes.
wow.
Yes, indeed.
I want to see that. That was oh no, oh shoot. Well, you
We
know
got
when we work
highlights.
together again, Quest, you got to bring her for sure.
Come on, you know we going big in Inglewood, so we got to talk. Let's go,
Yeah,
baby.
yeah. Let's get it.
Nah, man.
nice. You know what? I'm gonna rack up this video file, and that's how we're gonna end the show, y'all. But before we go, I just want to see some last words. I'm gonna start with you, Yvonne. Any last words you want to say to the people?
It's just an honor and a pleasure to
Mhm,
serve our community and
mhm,
in the way that we do, to work on behalf and advocate for artists and arts organizations.
mhm,
I just couldn't I just can't tell you how fulfilling it is to see Qwess and Albert and all the those from particularly this weekend and beyond. It's just
mhm.
fire.
Yeah. All right, brother Quest.
Well, I just really want to shoot. I'm standing in full gratitude, and I just want to thank CD10 and the supervisor of District 2 and Isaac Bryan and Metro and DCA and Chase and Amazon Music Rotation for really holding us down in Leimert to allow us to elevate our platform and provide access to these artists who deserve the same platform that you'll see on a beautiful Sunday at Hollywood Bowl. We brought Hollywood Bowl to Leimert Park,
Yeah.
baby, and
That's
I'm
right.
grateful for it. Thank you.
Yeah. Nice. Rhonda Love.
I just want to say I'm really grateful, and I'm thinking about our ancestors. I'm working on a lot of projects right now in that space, and just kind of bringing that history forward. But I'm really thankful because we get a chance to do and express things they could not do, and I'm very thankful that I live in a time, humbly, that we are able to lift them up and to celebrate them and to be unapologetic about who they are and who we are. That we get a chance to bring the voice that they could not bring. You know what I mean? And that
Mhm,
means a whole lot. And so I'm thinking of them, and I'm thinking of lifting them up in excellence. You know what I mean? And
mhm,
every
mhm,
chance that we get, that we continue to do that. They could not talk and have the freedom of expression. And I can't even imagine living in a time where I couldn't be who I was. You know what I mean? And I had a label put on me, and I was
mhm,
called a slave when I actually was not a slave, but I was enslaved. And I was called a slave as opposed to the enslaver being called the enslaver, because it took the sting of accountability from his consciousness and put it on me, my people. My blood, the blood that I have, flows from them. I carry their blood, I carry their DNA, I carry their message. And so it is up to us, it's up to me to lift their voice and to speak those things that they couldn't speak. And so I could
mhm,
come to tears when I think about it, when I think about our ancestors, but I'm just proud to be here living in this time, to be able to
mhm,
celebrate who they are and what they went through, and let them know we love you, we got the message, we got the story, and we remember, and we will make sure that the world remembers. And what you did and what you went through was not in vain. We are here standing, and we lift our voice together in unity to let the world know that you were here and that you mattered, and that as long as we live, we will continue to carry it on, and you will live forever. And I'm just thankful for that. And forgive me, because I get a little deep in that area, but sometimes I try to imagine what it was like to walk in their shoes, imagine what it was like to be them and to endure what they endured, and so we are the essence of them. And I want us to be mindful of that. And I'm grateful to have this opportunity to live in a time where I can lift my voice and speak up on their behalf.
And Rhonda, we are spiritual beings having a human experience.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And spirit cannot be caged or bound or chatteled or shackled, and spirit is boundless and endless, and they are living in us. And it's what a beautiful testament you just gave. Thank you for that prayer.
All right. Thank you so much, Rhonda Love. There, y'all can get this on Coffee Conversations with Greg J on the Facebook page, and then everywhere else. There's a few other locations on Facebook you can get it. Also, Beach City Radio, beachcityradio.com, YouTube. And then we're repurposing the audio and putting it out there wherever you can get your favorite podcast, Spreaker, iHeart, all that stuff. Just type it in, Coffee Conversations with Greg J. My last words are just simply love one another. Just check out the video. Love one another. Love one another. Peace and blessings.
You described yeah, we're working on how to